Jacob Nally with the Graphite Lab. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about one of our newer tools, the Purchasing Assistant inside of the toolbox. So one of the problems that almost every single skilled trades business deals with is a massive influx of purchasing materials coming from vendors into an email. So almost every company has that AP or accounts payable email or accounting email where files are just being constantly sent to it from vendors, whether that's bills from purchase orders on jobs, credits, delivery manifestos, order acknowledgments, quotes, receipts, statements, whatever that is. It's constantly bombarded with these files. Now, a lot of these companies that are sending in these files, basically there is some kind of an internal process in most organizations where it is someone's role to sit down with these files, download them to some kind of a local folder, open them up and compare them with what's in your digital system. Now, the problem with all of this, and the thing that really sucks about all of it, is it is incredibly manual. Because these companies are not sending this data in the form of an API or in the form of some kind of an automated service, some digital service, since it is a file, there's this huge manual workload that goes into effect, which can cause issues with missing information. It can cause issues with human error. It can cause issues with making sure the right people are in the right seat to do the right job. And it just creates all this headache, and then things can get missed easily too. And so basically, with all of that in mind, the Graphite Lab has developed a system called the Purchasing Assistant. And basically all this tool does is it takes in a file, which is a transaction file. The file can have as many or as few types of transactions in it as it does. And basically our tool identifies transactions in that file and parses them out as individual transactions. And basically what the tool does is converts these files into their digital representations, and then associates all of that with the API endpoints. And so basically what this allows us to do, and what most companies do, is basically attach it to that email, to that dreaded email account. And anytime a vendor sends any kind of file in, it parses out all of the transactions. And then you can build automations on top of that to compare that to what's in your CRM, to automatically notify people of things, build out workflows, whatever that really looks like. This is the tool inside of the toolbox. And basically, as things come into this tool, basically set a time period. We can set this up so it will automatically watch the email box and bring things in. And you can see these are all conversion jobs. It identifies transactions in the conversion jobs. So this customer, you can see, has a bunch of vendors who are sending maybe one file with like 35 different bills in it, parses out what different types of files they're receiving, and then basically watches their progress as they're kind of processing those files. And so I'm going to go ahead and hop into one of these pages so you can kind of see how this works. Okay, so you can see I'm in this confirm transaction page, and basically as transactions are parsed out, they get listed here. And then you can do a lot of different things with them. You can view the transaction, and then you can also click here. You can view the original file, so you can download the file that generated it, and then you can also archive the transaction, which isn't super relevant. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and hop into one of these transactions so you can see what the user interface looks like. All right, so now you can see that this is the inside of a bill. And so basically this is a confirmed status, but some of the major things that you can do in this is you can download the file, you can view it side by side with its actual PDF, which we'll do in a second. But you can see here that we've parsed out the product codes on the line items, the descriptions, the quantities, the prices, and then allowed you to basically set up different stages. So like, let's say as these kind of come through, let's say you've noticed an issue with this file as it pertains to something inside of your system. You can actually mark the status as having an issue, and then you can basically separate those so you can go through them. You can also mark them as completed, which basically means that, hey, everything matches our digital system. And you can also mark them as paid. So if you're doing a purchasing workflow and you want to make sure that you've paid an actual transaction or that the actual transfer of money has happened, you can actually manage that in here. In addition to that, we also have received statuses. So let's say you're in here and you're managing bills or you're managing different types of a purchase order of some kind. You can also mark things as partially received or fully received. And you can also set the quantities here of how much you've received of that item. You can also see here that we've parsed out a ton of the different account information, like the purchase order, the account details. And all of this is then available inside of automation tools like Zapier, where we can build out complex workflows for you. You can compare those to your tools inside of ServiceTitan or inside of any other CRM that you might be working with. In addition to that, some of the other things that you can do is anything inside of our toolbox, you can actually leave notes for. So you can actually add your team and you can directly add notes to this. So if somebody else comes to this page, you can actually see notes about this transaction. In addition to that, you can assign tasks. So you can create task management tasks and assign them to your team to review this. So let's say you're going through this and then you really need the purchasing manager to take a look at something. You can create a task management task for them to come take a look at this tool. So lastly, let's go ahead and view this side by side. You can see here that we're in the side by side comparison view, and you can see we've got the physical PDF that we actually parsed from here that actually came from the vendor. This one was inside of a document with many other different files. And you can see here that we successfully parsed out all of the different details from that file so that they're in their digital format. And just like with every single tool here at the Graphite Lab, this is a tool that can be plugged into tons of different workflows through automation. And so our team can build this so it automatically compares the values that it parses to what you've got in your digital systems. Have it auto create and update things inside of your tool. Have it do auto notifications. So if a certain file that meets certain conditions come in, have that go and send a notification to a certain person on team. And so really here at the Graphite Lab, we're all about basically providing really complicated tools into your workflows so that your team can really take the most out of technology without having to overhaul the way that your business manages its different workflows. So this is the purchasing assistant. And if you guys are interested, please feel free to reach out in the description.